Oh man, I tell you what, love the book. It is a really easy read, page turns quickly. Wish it was a more positive topic, but I totally understand because we've been covering this stuff for years. Um, right off the bat, I mean, obviously it doesn't take more than a few pages in, and you really hit the nail on the head when you quote Michael Moore, of all people, who talks about kind of like how he and the left sees America, right? It's a nation founded on genocide, built on the backs of slaves, and maintained through the subjugation of women to second-class citizenship and economic disempowerment. I mean, it really is a divide that kind of basically that one sentence almost empowers this divide that you're talking about that kind of runs through the whole book.
Oh, yeah, I thought that quote was really the perfect summation of their view of America, their extremely negative view of our country. It's strange to have to write a book to promote a positive view of America, you know, the kind of view that we probably grew up with, that, you know, land of the free, home of the brave. No, it's not. It's the land of the slave. But, you know, that's Michael Moore. And throughout the book, I use quotes like that from the left to show, look, this is actually what they believe in their own words.
Yeah, it definitely is a theme that kind of keeps coming up and is a great reminder of what some of the motivations of these individuals are. And as you were putting this together, sort of give me an idea of kind of how you kind of created that outline, because your book goes through so many different topics, like I said in the opening, whether it be that, you know, tearing down statues, whether it be, you know, attack on the flag or the national anthem, Christmas holidays, it'd be the border. I mean, there's so many different avenues here. You kind of whittled it down to sort of like about 12 main topics. How did you go about doing that?
Well, basically, it was widening circles. I had written some articles in USA Today and Wall Street Journal about the Confederate statues controversy. And when Regnery asked if I wanted to do a book, I said, sure, but it won't just be that, because I wanted to sort of look at it, you know, starting with that and then widening it out. You know, you go from there to the founders, and then you go to other presidents, and then you go to the Constitution and to the flag, and, you know, it just keeps going, and then to holidays and political correctness in general. So it's kind of a, you know, using the starting point as this flashpoint, but then showing that, and, you know, again, following the lead of the progressives and the left. It's just not that one issue. It's the whole thing. It's the whole country that they're indicting.
Yeah, and, you know, when you're talking about, you know, covering on the statues and you see some of these unfold, one of the things that in my mind is just how there is no sort of letting go of the past. I mean, they really are behaving like the Civil War was 20 years ago, right? We should all be indicted for something that happened, possibly connected to a distant relative of someone in the South. They don't even know the historical context of many of these things. I mean, how do we ever sort of kind of heal from that when you got people that want to ban Dukes of Hazzard, for the love of Pete?
Well, you know, it used to be healed. That's the interesting thing. You can go back to, you know, starting with Appomattox, where it was really the Union that was making peace, not the Confederates. So the Confederates were beaten. I mean, they were defeated. And then it was up to the North to sort of say, okay, fine, we're not going to have a punitive peace. We're not going to have, you know, mass trials and have everybody exiled and stuff like that. That generation got together and they said, okay, we're going to move on as a country. You know, as Ulysses S. Grant said, you know, the Confederates are Americans now. So starting from then and then moving on into the 20th century and so forth, you know, pretty much it was settled. I mean, the resolution of the war was settled. The South was defeated, slavery was abolished, and that's it, and we move on. It's only in the last 10 or 20 years or so that you get people wanting to rip off that Band-Aid. You know, they want to reopen the wound. And so, for example, you have the Chief of Staff for the White House, General Kelly, saying something nice about Robert E. Lee. He was an honorable man. Well, throughout our history, that's a non-controversial statement. No one would bat an eye at that. And I have quotes in there from Franklin Roosevelt, John Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, you know, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, whoever, you know, saying basically the same thing, and no one cared. But he says it recently, and he is castigated. He's like, you know, part of the lost cause mythology and all this jazz. So it's just a recent thing. that the Civil War is suddenly a controversy again. And as you say, it's people who have no connection to this war. I mean, this was 150 years ago.